let me just start. Might as well start recording at this point. Let's. It is totally true, and I understand people are out and about. They're probably in the mountains somewhere. Fantastic. Oh, Vincent, wonderful. How are you, brother? Radab, I'm sorry. You were about to say something. Yeah. And is it Radeb or is it Rateb or how do I say your name? Ratib. Ratib. Okay. Cool, man. Awesome. So thanks for that. Thanks for letting that. You're in the right place then. I love it. Yeah, I believe it. All right, let's. There you go. Let's. Okay, so let's get started because today's topic is crypto wallets. Last time, what did we speak about last time? I think it was GPU mining and stuff like that. So so with this time, we talked about NFT standards. That's what it was the last subject. Yes. So this is great because 4th of July is just around the corner. It's literally tomorrow, and just like Ratib has just stated, everybody's probably on vacation, but everybody wants to also know how do we claim our coins, and the best way to do that is just to prepare ahead of time to receive them, and we will go over how to do that. I'll actually go through a demonstration also on how to set up some of these wallets as well. But I also have a selection of wallets for you guys here so that you can have a choice in the matter as to which one you prefer to use. Okay, so let's check out the presentation first. All right, so what is a crypto wallet anyway? Well, it's basically your portal to engaging in anything in Web3. For many of us, we're familiar with engaging on blockchains like Ethereum and maybe like Avalanche or Polygon. Those are all very very similar kinds of blockchains, and I'll get to that in a minute. But Web3 requires that you have a wallet, right? That's kind of at the core of what engages with the network. So we use this in a sort of public key, private key infrastructure where the public key is what you use to send people or yourself for whatever reason you need to send money from one place to another, right? That's your public key. Your private key is the thing that actually accesses the wallet, right? This is something you don't ever give out, right? Your private key is supposed to be private. Good morning, Rio. Good to see you, buddy. Instead of an API connecting to a database, like for example, if you've ever connected from a website with your Google account or with your Facebook account, right? Those are using things that we call APIs. And basically what that does is it links servers together so that you can access information with with information from one server to another. And in this case, we don't use APIs, right? Web3 is using blockchain. That's the difference. And, that's a big part of why this is very important, right? Because APIs are inherently centralized. They have the ability to be changed at any given moment by the creator, whereas blockchain is decentralized, right? We don't have that sort of problem or issue. Sometimes that may not necessarily be a bad thing, but in some cases, for most things with blockchain, we believe in decentralization, right? Which means that you have to be very, very careful about your wallets, okay? Wallets here in blockchain, they can't be recovered by anybody, okay? If you lose access to your private key and then you change your wallet somewhere else, and you don't have access to it anymore, you're out of luck. Okay, there is no support line. So let's talk about the difference between hot versus cold wallets, because these are going to play a critical role in your experience. But hot wallets are essentially a wallet that is accessing the internet at all times, at any given moment. Hot wallets are really great for momentary transactions. Most of the time, anybody who's starting off in crypto will first create a hot wallet. That's usually the first thing that you have to create. Then you can also decide whether or not you want to use a cold wallet, or if you want to use a hardware wallet from that point. Now, hot wallets, they're great in the sense that you don't necessarily need any sort of device or authentication to necessarily make things go through on the blockchain. What that allows you to do is make quick transactions, right? So if you're like, let's say, ready to get a mint, and that mint is expected to sell out, you may want to have a hot wallet for the mint so that you can mint it very, very, very fast. But then you might want to transfer the NFT, for a cold wallet or a hardware wallet, just for long-term storage or something of that sort. I don't recommend having hot wallets as a long-term storage solution. Cold wallets, on the other hand, the difference is that they're kept offline, so you still technically have the connection via the blockchain. You can send in information to that wallet, no problem, but you don't put that wallet online very often. So this could be a situation where, let's say, you have a different computer that has the storage of that wallet. Sometimes, like for example, you have JSON files, JSON files. These are essentially the keys to your wallet on certain drives. This is something very similar that somebody would have with Bitcoin, right? You would have your wallet information in a file, and that would be stored on a hard drive. Many reasons why this is an issue is because people lose their hard drives all the time, right? It could be misplacement, hard drive failure, a surge destroys it, anything could happen to a hard drive, which is something that is very dangerous for some people. But in the case of, this is also just another solution, right? You could, as long as you have the seed phrase to your wallet, you should be able to recover your wallet through the blockchain. But the idea is that you do not have your wallet online at all or for very long, okay? That's the idea of a cold storage wallet. Now, some people go through extra lengths of security by having it on a separate computer, and this computer sometimes is not even accessing the internet. There's actually a really, really cool company that creates these kinds of computers. I think it's called Prism or something like that. Look it up. It's like, I think it's like Edward Snowden's like favorite computer brand or something like that. And it's a no-name brand that is like top-notch with security. It has like kill switches for like Wi-Fi and everything. So some people like to use things like that in order to keep their stuff completely disconnected from the internet. Or some people just decide they're going to have it on a hard drive and it's just not connected to the computer at all. They'll just keep it away. So again, hot wallets are used for convenience and accessibility, whereas cold storage is meant for offline, not meant to be accessed on a regular day basis. Any questions before I move on to hardware wallets? Wonderful. Awesome. So let's go and talk about those. So hardware wallets are specialized devices. Their intention is to protect your most valuable assets, but also they can be used on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the things that I like about a hardware wallet. It takes a little bit of getting accustomed to using a hardware wallet. I use personally a ledger. I am more than happy to give a demonstration on how to use a ledger if that is something of interest to you all. I have a lot of appreciation for a hardware wallet after using a ledger. It just allows me to really sleep well at night, at the core of what I'm trying to say here. Because what it does is it keeps your private key offline. And what it will do is in order to send any transaction, you have to interact with the device itself. There's another version of something like this that was around a long time before hardware wallets for crypto were even a thing. But we have things like YubiKeys. I have a YubiKey as well. A lot of server administrators have been using YubiKeys in order to access certain profiles on their computers. I do it for my own email, right? So it's the same thing. It's like a hardware passcode that you have to actually interact with the key in order to access certain pieces of information. I'm a firm believer that in now we're living in Web3 and all this kind of stuff, that having something like a YubiKey for all of your accounts, I use it for my Facebook account, my Twitter account, my Gmail, for everything. I use a YubiKey. It's like life-changing for me. Really recommend it. I can also talk about that along with hardware wallets if you want to do like a whole entire like security type of presentation. I have a question here from Rio. Do you have concerns with Ledger's new firmware that could potentially reveal keys? So not really. I'm not really that concerned about it, mainly because that is an optional thing. So as Ledger has told everybody, is that you have to opt in to be able to do that. And what that would be doing is essentially, I think, splitting your secret phrase into 3 compartments, which are sent to different providers. And the whole purpose of that is if you lose your ledger or you lose your seed phrase, using your identity with like a passport or something like that, you can recover your wallet that way. I don't believe in doing that, period. I think honestly though, it's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of getting mass adoption. I think a lot of people in the world are not as privy to working in Web3. I think a lot. That's why I do these classes. Right. This is a very important front to making sure that we get more mass adoption going, and having the situation where people have to remember their seed phrase, back it up. Hell, what's a hardware wallet? Like all these sorts of things. There's a lot of complexity to crypto and Web3. So the easier that we can make it for people to onboard, because think about it this way. Let's say you got, your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, and they're like, all right, let's get into this thing and let me try it out. I have no idea. I'm archaic in my computer knowledge. So what the hell is a seed phrase? I have no idea. Oh, I can back up my information with my ID. Let's do that. That's the idea of where I see this mostly going. Now, for those of us who are thinking about it as, well, okay, sovereignty, right? There's no sovereignty by doing that. And you're right. I think that's why they made it an optional choice, right? For some of us who are very well aware of how to use certain things like this, I don't think it makes sense for us. But it wasn't built for us in that case. So those are my thoughts on the Ledger situation. Unless anybody has anything to comment, do we want to open the floor on that subject? Cool. All right. Let's continue going then. So essentially, and you don't need to use a ledger per se. I just use a ledger. You can use a Trezor, or you can use any other kind of hardware wallet that's out there. Trezor is actually pretty well respected. I've also seen things like Elipal, SafePal. These are other kinds of brands that use wallets like this. The only reason why I really love a Ledger is because it's so interoperable. There's a lot of different blockchains that are connected to Ledger, and that's why I think it's still honestly the best one out there. Okay, whenever you make a transaction, again, you have to use the device itself. So when you use something like a Ledger or a Trezor or something like that on your device, when let's say you make a purchase, right, and your MetaMask is going to come up asking to approve of the purchase, it will actually send information to your wallet on your device, and then you'll have to actually approve it on your device. So this is the big thing why it's so much nicer having for terms of security purposes. It's a little slower to make the transaction go through because you have to take a couple of extra steps clicking on your device. So in comparison to something like a hot wallet, if there's like a mint that's happening and it's going to, mint out in 15 seconds, maybe a ledger is not going to be the best way to do that. You might want a hot wallet for that, but it's got all the security preference that I require in my transaction. So it's really good against hacking. Any questions about hardware wallets in general? All right, fantastic. So at Xeno Mining, we're going to be mining the following coins in perpetuity using immersion mining, by the way. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Cadena, and Nervos, okay? When we say perpetuity, honestly, these coins are not going to be able to be mined forever, except for Dogecoin, because that one actually is infinite market cap. But Bitcoin, Doge, Litecoin, Cadena, and Nervos all have an entire, they have a cap to how many coins will be put out into the market at some point. So in perpetuity, meaning up until these coins cannot be mined anymore. All right, which is going to be a long, long time, probably long before we'll be alive for. Okay, I think Bitcoin is 150 years and Cadena is 250 years or something like that. So, we don't have to worry about that, but maybe our grandkids will. Each of these are a different blockchain though, and they require a wallet capable of supporting them natively. That's a big issue with mining, is that you have to have a dedicated wallet to receive the funds from the mining operation. Because every single one of these are different blockchains, okay? So it's not like we can just use Ethereum wallets and we're good, unfortunately. That would be fantastic. But then, of course, we would probably also be much further in our mass adoption trend than we are now, right? So these are the coins that we have chosen to mine. And for good reason, right? And as I've explained in many, many different presentations before, if you want to learn a little bit more about these coins and why we're mining them, please check out those videos respectively. So a lot of wallets out there do have the ability to hold multiple coins. That's not to say that, having specific coins for each one of these blockchains is a necessity. There are some wallets that do have multiple blockchain access. Honestly, I think the easiest one to get started with is the Coinbase wallet. It has the ability to receive Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin. It definitely has those three. I don't think it has Cadena. And I don't think it has Nervos either. But as for the first three, a lot of people go through Coinbase anywhere in the world, or Binance for that matter. Does Binance have its own wallet? I forget, but Coinbase does have their own wallet, and that's a very, very popular choice. MetaMask is also very popular, but MetaMask is an EVM only wallet, meaning it only interacts with the Ethereum virtual machine. So anything that operates using the Ethereum virtual machine, MetaMask can use. And MetaMask is by far my favorite one to use out of all of these, but it can't be used for everything. My second favorite is Zelcore. Zelcore, again, another one that also has Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. But Zelcore also has Cadena and things like Flux and whatnot, and Caspa. So if you're interested in any of those coins, Zelcore is actually a really great option. I love using Zelcore. It's a big one for me. Also, Zelcore, by just a tag on, they also have another layer of security so that you can actually use a PIN code that is not on the wallet itself. It's actually stored on the blockchain, and it's a security measure. They call it a decentralized two-factor authentication, right? So you're not leaving it up to like a Google authenticator or your email or your cell phone. It's another layer that you can add to the security, which is using decentralized blockchain technology. downside of that is if you forget your PIN, you're screwed. But most people, I think, can remember a 6-pin number, and that is something that I'm a fan of. So Zelcore compatible with Ledger. Actually, very recently they added support for Ledger. So yes, it is supported by Ledger. You can connect your hardware wallet to Zelcore. But that doesn't mean that it adds any other coins that Ledger doesn't have capabilities for. So it still is dependent on Ledger's compatibility with those coins, right? So I can have an account in Zelcore for my Ledger, but I won't be able to use Cadena with my Ledger. I'd have to still use it with my other account in Zelcore. Hopefully that makes sense. There's some other ones here. We got Zengo, Exodus. A lot of people tend to like Exodus too. I personally haven't used it. Trust Wallet is another one. Coin Payments, Trezor, Ledger, Atomic Wallet, and there's so many. There's so many wallets out there. Honestly, it's really up to you what you want to use and what matters to you in terms of usability. I have a couple of listed ideas for you in this presentation. Yes, any questions? I thought I heard somebody was about to ask a question. Okay. Ryu is... Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. I see Rio is typing though. Let's wait a moment here. Besides, Cadena is Ledger compatible with all of the other Xeno coins. Yes, absolutely. Ledger is compatible. That's one of the reasons why I love it so much. Everything from Bitcoin to Nervos, except for Cadena, of course, Ledger is compatible. So if you have a Ledger, you're in luck. That makes it a lot easier for you. Okay. So, multi-chain wallets that are EVM only. Like I said, Ethereum Virtual Machine, it only interacts with EVM, okay? So anything that's based off of Ethereum, things like MetaMask, Avalanche, BNB, Phantom, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, right? Any of those kinds of blockchains that are EVM compatible can use things like MetaMask, BitPi, Brave Wallet, OKX Wallet, Opera, Wallet 3, XDFi, Math Wallet. These are all EVM compatible. Okay, now here are some recommendations for the Bitcoin native wallet. So if you want to, store Bitcoin, of course, because that is such an important asset. The best for security, people recommend the Trezor Model T. I also think that it's probably more secure. I know that a lot of people have thoughts about Ledger Nano X being a security thing, because of the whole entire idea that you can send your seed phrase to 3 parts of a company. So yeah, I understand, which is why I didn't put it as the best for security, right? I think it's not to say that there isn't a security flaw inherently built into Ledger, but if that matters to you where you want no doubt whatsoever, go with a Trezor. Don't support what you don't appreciate, right? Just go with what you feel is the best choice. So that's why I'm putting a Trezor as best for security here. Although if you want to integrate with other blockchains, Ledger is really much better than Trezor. Best for advanced Bitcoin users though, Electrum. Electrum offers like a lot of other advanced features that you can kind of go into, and looking into things like nonce and Merkle trees and stuff like that. You can use that stuff in Electrum. So if you're more of like a person who wants to operate a Bitcoin node, Electrum actually has a lot of really cool tools for that. Best for beginners, Exodus. Very easy to implement. I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos on Exodus, and it's actually a very, very simple to use type of wallet. Best for mobile users, Mycelium. This is something that you can use as a way just to, if you prefer to have your Bitcoin on the go. I don't honestly recommend anything being on mobile because mobile is so easy to lose and they're more prone to hacking than anything else. But if that matters to you, maybe you're going to go on a trip somewhere and you don't want to carry your ledger, all around, but you want to carry a little bit of Bitcoin, you can use Mycelium instead. That's one of those things that I'd say as a temporary solution for mobile use would be a good option. You also have the option to use Bitcoin Core. I didn't mention this as one of the other ones, but I like to throw it out there because if you're someone who wants to support the blockchain at its root, Bitcoin Core is a node operating wallet, but also is a wallet. So it's the original wallet actually. So if you want to use what Satoshi Nakamoto made, there you go, right? You don't even have to worry about Trezor or Ledger or anything like that. And it's a cold storage wallet too, because it's going to be hosted on a hard drive. Just remember, hard drives do die. And many have lost Bitcoin because of this. Okay, some people have literally thrown their drives out. I've heard stories of people going to the junkyard looking for one hard drive because it had like 1,000 Bitcoin in it. So I mean, like, it's, just be very aware that what you're using when you're using Bitcoin Core. Litecoin native wallets. Okay, so best for functionality, Atomic Wallet has probably the most integration with Litecoin. Best for security, aside from something like a Ledger or something like that, you could use Garda Wallet. Has more, security features like PIN code, access, and all that kind of stuff. Best for beginners, again, Exodus. I think Exodus is very, very, it lends itself to anybody who doesn't really use a lot of crypto. It's a good wallet for them. Coinomi for convenience, and for mobile, Trust Wallet is another one, right? Trust Wallet, it tends to be an EVM mostly compatible kind of wallet, but they do have also things like Litecoin, etc. on them as well. And I think Dogecoin, if I remember correctly, because they're both script. Litecoin also has a Litecoin Core software, so you can do, just like we were talking about Bitcoin Core, you can also support the blockchain by using Litecoin Core and using the wallet that's inherently built into that. Same instance though, like Bitcoin, it will be stored on a hard drive. Be aware of that. Dogecoin, ease of use, Zengo. Atomic Wallet is very good for earning rewards. I think a lot of people would use that because Dogecoin is so much of a type of like a tipping culture, where people are like, oh, I like what you did, here's a tip, right? Kind of thing. Atomic Wallet, it lends itself to a lot of good interaction back and forth for many transactions. You'll see there's a couple of recurring wallets here, like, Atomic, Guard, Exodus, Trust. These are very, very popular wallets that a lot of people like to use. They're all very good. Again, it's really mostly though, what is your preference when you're looking into a wallet? And honestly, don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Open up an Exodus account, open up an Atomic account, open up a Math Wallet account, whatever, and try them out and see what features you really like. One of the reasons why I really like Zelcore is because I get a lot of the functionality for an advanced user. For example, I run a Flux node. I want that, and that information is accessible to me in Zelcore. Not only that, I have my hardware wallet integration into Zelcore, and then I also have Cadena, Flux, Algorand. I have all these different blockchains that are accessible through Zelcore. However, Zelcore, when you first use it, looks like, what is this thing? I kind of don't really know what I'm doing here because it's not the most user-friendly type of wallet to get started with. It's got more information than I think is probably necessary for a beginner, and you might get lost in the beginning trying to just, use Zelcore. So I don't recommend it for beginners. But if you're kind of like an intermediate to more advanced user, Zelcore is a great option. Dogecoin also has Dogecoin Core. which is the original wallet for Dogecoin. Same thing like Litecoin and Bitcoin. Same exact thing. Okay. Any questions about these three before I move on? I'm just curious. Looking good. Okay. Let's move on to Cadena. So some recommendations for Cadena Native are the best for ease of use. I recommend is Koala Wallet. I personally use Zelcore, and one of the reasons why I say best for earning rewards is Zelcore is because you can use it for flux nodes, you can use it for Cadena mining. I also like the option of how easy it is to transfer from chain to chain on Cadena. You know, from chain 0 to chain 1 to chain 8 to chain 2. You can go, back and forth very, very simply on Zelcore. The best for security, though, is Chainweaver. And I've personally used Chainweaver first because I'm like, okay, this is a new blockchain. This is probably the only wallet that's out for it right now. And Chainweaver was a big pain in the butt. Although I appreciated its security measures. That's what I'll say. Okay, because in order to use Chainweaver, you actually have to open an entire virtual machine inside your computer. That's the thing about it. I was like, oh my God, really? I have to use like Oracle in order to open this thing. And then when I'm inside, it's not intuitive at all. It was very much like a computer programming genius built it. It's built for computer programmers. I was like, okay, this is not very user friendly. So I do appreciate things like Zelcore or Koala Wallet. Those are so much easier to use than Chainweaver. However, Chainweaver is by far the safest one to use because of that fact that you need an Oracle to even go through and open it. So it's very good for your local security. Best for beginners is Echo Wallet. Honestly, because you can download it for mobile, you can download it on your computer. That's the one I'm actually going to show you how to set up today, the Echo Wallet. And the best for mobile, though, is Koala. You get more features on Koala. It's just as good as Echo. Echo Wallet was built by CatX, though, by the way, just for those of you who are curious to know. That's the decentralized exchange on Cadena. For Nervos, we have some recommendations here as well. For ease of use, I'd say ABC Wallet. It's very simple to use, very accessible, has all the parameters that you would ever need for Nervos. And it's also, I believe, EVM compatible if I remember correctly. So you can actually take your Nervos and put it onto Godwoken, which is Nervos's EVM chain. So you can actually convert your Nervos so that it can be used on an Ethereum virtual machine. Best for earning rewards, though, is Neuron by far. And the reason why I say that is because Neuron has access to the Nervos DAO. And the Nervos DAO is basically a way for you to hedge against the inflation that happens on the Nervos blockchain, right? Because as more coins are being mined, of course, that's adding, selling pressure onto the entire ecosystem. But if you're like, not trying to hodl Nervos, but you want to be able to spend it, or I'm sorry. If you want to hodl, you want to be able to hold on to your coins. You want to have this in the Nervos DAO. Basically, what that does is it basically takes the Nervos CKB that you've been mining, and it stakes it. And it stakes it to earn more Nervos to combat against inflation. That's what it's there for. So very, very cool part of it. I don't think the other wallets have the accessibility of using Nervos DAO. Best for security, Ledger, of course, because hardware wallets beat everything else, honestly. Also, I honestly think the best for beginners is starting with Neuron, because if you're working with Neuron, there is a simplicity to how it is. I'll show you what it looks like, and you have more options with it. And honestly, it's a good thing to get working understanding. But if you want to if you're already comfortable with some of the other ones like Math Wallet or ABC Wallet, you can certainly use that as well. Okay. Any questions about these before I talk about some of the more popular wallets out there? Okay. Great question. So, Model X is kind of like their official release for most things. I believe the Model S has access to certain beta functions. So, for example, um, a blockchain like Ergo was not actually accessible on Ledger Nano X, but it was available on Ledger Nano S for testing purposes. Most people on the S platform will get things first, mainly because it's a smaller nano. It's got less, sort of features than the X is. So they use that more as a way to test a lot of devices. Um, the X, I think they don't want to push anything onto the X until things work on the S, so that anybody who's using the X is not, encountering any sort of, bugs or, breaking glitches and stuff like that. About Ledger Touch, I haven't heard much about the new Ledger Touch. Um, Looks cool though. I'll say that. Stacks, yes, that's what it was. Yeah, Ledger Stacks. So yes, it does matter what kind of model you use for Ledger for certain things. For most things, though, the X is going to be fine. It's honestly the thing that people have the most because Ledger X, my understanding, it can hold a lot more coins, or not coins, but blockchains on at the same time. That doesn't mean that the S can't use the same blockchains. It can only store so much information on the S because it's a smaller data size. So you can maybe have 5 blockchains on the S, where on the X you can have like 15. That's at any one time. And if you wanted to change that, you just have to go into the app and swap out whatever blockchain you're not using at the time. All right. Any other questions before I move on? All right, let's take a look at some of these popular wallets. Exodus, again, because it's come up so many times, but Exodus is a desktop and mobile wallet known for its user-friendly interface. Has a wide range of cryptos that we can use and a simple way to manage and exchange your digital assets. I should also mention that some of them have their own exchanges. MetaMask has its own exchange. Exodus has its own exchange. Zelcore has its own exchange. Actually, Zelcore, I'm such a fanboy, right? One of the things about Zelcore that actually you can do is you can connect via API structure your wallet to stuff like KuCoin or Gate.io or Binance. You could actually connect your accounts on those exchanges to Zelcore, so you don't actually have to go all the way and like make a transfer to Binance or KuCoin. You can have it done automatically through Zelcore, which I think is pretty dope. Trust Wallet. Okay, a mobile wallet that's widely recognized for its ease of use. Again, supports a lot of cryptos with a clean and intuitive interface. Atomic Wallet, also beginner-friendly interface. Many cryptos. Features like in-wallet staking and atomic swaps as well. Coinbase Wallet is a mobile wallet offered by Coinbase, of course, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, and it provides a simple and secure way to store and manage your crypto with seamlessly integrating with the Coinbase exchange platform. So if you're, if using Coinbase is really important to you, then it could be your solution here. And then Ledger Nano S. While hardware wallets might require a bit more technical knowledge, it is often recommended to use the Nano S for beginners because it's got a bit of a more user-friendly design for it, and it provides excellent security for cryptocurrencies. So in this sense, the S is very good for new users and people who want to run test nets. That's what the S is really good for. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. Also remember to conduct your own research, right? Again, I can only provide so much information. You still have to go ahead and try these out for yourself and see which ones you like. I do still recommend Ledger. I know people are having like a lot of conflict about that, but I don't think it's something that I'm very worried about. Not at this time anyway. If they were to tell me that now my stuff has to be backed up to other platforms that I don't want to, then that when I would be very, very, I'd be very surprised, one. And I would also be very wary about that because now I absolutely know I don't have control. But if I have the ability to opt in and I don't want to, nothing has changed. So, but we'll see, because that could pose an issue for people who, let's say, they want to have, the firmware updates, continuously come and, change their ledger status. But, if you can't get firmware updates, that can be an issue. So maybe they'll have different firmwares for people who have the backup solution, and for those who don't, they will have their own. We'll see. It still has, we still have to see what happens. Okay, so let's take a look and see how to create a crypto wallet. I have to now, I guess, change certain parameters here on my screen. So let's see. You guys are still seeing this, right? So actually, let's start off over here with Coinbase Wallet, because honestly, Coinbase Wallet is a very easy one to download. It's super simple. Okay, you can look up Coinbase. I think it's wallet.coinbase.com. There you go. Right. So here's the Coinbase Wallet, and it's literally a Google Chrome compatible wallet. So you basically go to download, and you'll see the options right over here: download for iOS, download for Android, or download for Chrome. And I already have it downloaded, pre-downloaded here. So you'll see my Coinbase Wallet extension comes up on the top right of my screen. And so when I click it, you're going to see the little pop-up, right? And Coinbase, has their own little animation and all this kind of stuff. It says you can manage your DeFi, your NFTs, you can manage your dApps. This is great, right? Because that's one of the things. Actually, a lot of the wallets out there, whenever they say, hey, select your MetaMask, right, to mint this, sometimes my MetaMask gets confused that it's actually the Coinbase wallet. Which means that you can use the Coinbase wallet for the same transactions, which is kind of hilarious. So let's go ahead and just create a new wallet. You're going to see, this is back up your wallet, save these 12 words to a password manager, or write them down to store in a secure place, right? So we're going to see this right now. This is the backup seed phrase, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be using this wallet, so you shouldn't either. This is recorded. I'm going to take a picture of this right now just for the purpose of this tutorial, because I'm going to have to write this in a second. But when you get this information, the best thing to do is just to write it on a piece of paper, right? That's the best thing to do. Don't copy the words and put them in your email. Don't do anything where it can be accessed digitally, because now it's prone to hacking, right? Of course, you could add stuff like YubiKeys and stuff like that to help, increase the security. But if you really care about that particular wallet, it should not be anywhere in an email. And that's something that I live by especially with my Ledger. I don't write my Ledger key seed phrase anywhere else. That's here only on site at home. I even have one of those steel containers to hold the information of my seed phrase in case there's a fire, so that it's fireproof. Those are very important things to consider. Okay. If it's just like a hot wallet going back and forth that you don't use for anything but temporary purchases, then whatever, right? You know, use your email, use a digital file. But again, if it matters to you, don't put it anywhere on the internet. Don't put it anywhere digitally. Put it in handwriting or physical form in some way, shape, or form. Some people like to engrave, whatever it is that you choose to do, okay? So you're going to have to say, I understand that if I lose my recovery phrase, I lose all my crypto in my wallet, okay? That's how it goes. Here we go, right? So it says you saved it, right? Right now they want you to back it up, right? So they're saying, okay, let's make sure that we can actually see this, right? So it says, click on the first and then the 12th word. Okay, so my first word was camera, and then the 12th word was fantasy. There we go. Great. Now it's going to say enter a password. Now this password is only just for you to access your wallet while on the computer, right? You don't need to enter your seed phrase every single time. So you just have to enter your wallet. So I'm just going to say demo, right? Demo, right? Oh, actually we need to put a number in here. So demo, let's say 1, right? They'll say it's too easy to guess, right? Okay, maybe let's see if this will work. It's a match, but it doesn't want me to use that. So let's say 12. Okay, that's what I'll do instead, right? Just for the sake of this, you know, example, right? Demo, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now don't use this, right? This is a horrible password. Use something that has, you know, at least like an uppercase letter, a number, a special character, and I recommend something that's like 12 characters long at least, or something of that sort. Okay. So that's, I mean, that's just kind of some security measures that you would do. Sometimes also people use, like their antivirus software has like a feature to create a password generator or something like that. You could use those. I don't want to type in a crazy password from a password generator that looks like a freaking cryptographic key. Like, that's not my prerogative. I like to use something that's a little bit more user friendly. You know, read by a human maybe. But you know, that's up to you. That's really up to you. So demo 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my password here. Now it says I've created a wallet. My wallet is ready. Okay, excellent. Now here's the thing that's kind of cool about Coinbase. You can also grab a free username. It's kind of like, so if I don't want to send to a wallet address, I can just send to a Coinbase username instead, which is pretty cool. But I don't want to do that right now, but that's up to you if you want to do that later. Cool. So here's the thing. Look, hello BTC, LTC, and Doge, now supported in browser extension. Isn't that great, right? Because that's why we're using this today, okay? I'm going to close that. We can stake our Matic. That's pretty cool. All your wallets in one app. Stake your ETH. Great, right? So now add crypto to get started. So you just basically go here and you can go add crypto with Coinbase Pay, which is from Coinbase itself, or you can transfer from another wallet. So literally straight from Coinbase, you can go ahead and send information here to your wallet and it's there. And it can be used in DeFi. That's great. Your swap right over here, again, you need to connect it with Coinbase to your wallet, and then you can start using DeFi applications on Coinbase. You can also access your NFTs and any sort of applications using DeFi. This is where we get our ETH and Matic staking information from. Coinbase had quite a bit of an issue with the SEC when it came to staking on their platform. So what they've done is they've created Coinbase DeFi, which allows your information to be using DeFi information instead of actually on Coinbase, the platform itself, which in my opinion is better anyway. I prefer to use DeFi. I prefer to have my control in my own way. So, and you know, if you want to bridge any coins from one chain to another, for example, let's say you want to get ETH and you want to put it into wrapped ETH on Avalanche, you can do that right over here. Okay, again, I still need to add some crypto here to do that, but that's what the bridge function is for You may, for example, receive information on Polygon, but you need to put it onto Ethereum instead, and that's what that's for. So I can take USDC on Polygon and transform that into USDC on Ethereum. I could also send and receive as well, and the receive function, right? That's what you're going to want when it comes to Zeno, right? So here, receive crypto and NFTs, right? You can already see there are a couple of different addresses. Your Bitcoin, your Dogecoin, and your Litecoin addresses are all here for your convenience. And you can just take the copy function right over here, which is the two squares kind of thing. That's what we use as the universal duplicate or copy symbol, right? So we'll take that, we'll copy that, and we can put that into our Zeno mining dashboard where you'll be able to receive the rewards on the Zeno mining dashboard, okay? So that's the information. This is the address information that you want, okay? Are there any questions about interacting with the Coinbase wallet? It's very, very similar for a lot of other things, but I like to show the Coinbase because there's a lot of extra functions that are kind of cool here for beginners. Any questions? Yes, you can just, it's literally an import function. So if you actually saw in the very beginning when I started, it was create a new wallet or import an existing wallet. So I would just take the same information and import that wallet. So it would be your seed phrase. You take the seed phrase and you would just put it on the import wallet function. And then now you have the same wallet on your mobile as to your PC or your Mac. Right, exactly. And like I said, I always say, don't always stick to phone because you could lose your phone, somebody could hack it, whatever, right? It's much easier to get through on a phone than it is on something like a desktop or PC. It's important though, right? Because everybody is using their phones. So mass adoption does require that we have mobile compatibility. And luckily for things like, for example, like a Ledger or Zelcore, they're actually both mobile compatible too, which I actually really appreciate. Any other questions about Coinbase Wallet? Okay. Let's see. Now, I have to just make sure if you can actually see my desktop from this. I don't think you can. So let me change the streaming to a different viewpoint. One second here. Let me open up a different thing here. Now, I'm going to show you Cadena next. So let's see here if this shows up. Do you guys see Echo Wallet? Is my stream working for you guys? Okay, awesome. Very good. All right, so this is Echo Wallet. Now, Echo Wallet, when you go ahead and you download it, this is actually an application on my computer right now as you see it. This is not a, although it does have a Google Chrome extension, we can do that as well. I'm purposely showing you that you could also download the actual wallet onto your computer too. So this is a very, very good wallet to use with Cadena. I see a lot of projects integrating Echo or, the CADEX wallet, if you want to call it that. Very, very similar way of doing this, right? So let's just say I'm a new user. First thing it's going to say is, what's your password? Okay, so let's just say do the same thing, right? Demo. Oh, it needs one uppercase. Okay, demo. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's do exclamation point, right? Okay, demo. demo 1 2 3 4. So you could even see like even Cadena's like, yeah, bro, you're not gonna get away with just like the simple stuff. Let's at least complicate your password just a little bit. So great, that's a good thing though. Secret recovery phrase, okay, same thing. Okay, in the next step, you'll record your 12-word recovery phrase, make it easy to restore your wallet on a new device. But anybody who has this can access your crypto, so be very, very careful, okay? Click here to reveal the secret words. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm going to take another photo. Again, if this means something to you, what do? Do I just take a photo? Do I just put it onto my computer? What do I do? Is that a good option? Just write it. Exactly. Just write it down. we call exactly, right? We call this a paper backup. Paper storage. There you go. There's your paper storage. Okay, so now here's the thing, right? When it comes to Cadena, this happens with all Cadena, honestly. Wallets, they want you to write every single word down. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got my demo photo here. So let's see here. Tiger. It says equip. Okay, let's do evoke. Shuffle. Foil. Certain. Title. Crystal. Evoke again. Virtual. Pet. Load. All right, let's see. Do I do this correct? Yes, I did. Now I put in my password, which in this case I put was demo with a capital D, demo 1 2 3 4 exclamation point, and now I says use passcode login to sign in. Would you like to use passcode and biometrics to access Echo Wallet? So you can do this, I guess, with your own Mac. Like I'm using a Mac right now. So if you're using a Mac, you can use, your Face ID, you could use your fingerprint scan, whatever, your biometrics in order to do that. I'm going to cancel that for now because I don't really care about that for this wallet. But if it were my own other personal wallet, I might. Okay, so here it is, right? This is the Cadena wallet, right? So very, very simple, intuitive interface. You can see there's the send function and the receive function. So here is my Cadena account, right? This is what I would put onto Zeno Mining. And I would, of course, click the duplicate, copy function, right? Copy that entire thing into my Zeno dashboard. And now I'm ready to claim information from dashboard, okay? That's all you would need in this case. Now, I would always recommend to use the copy to clipboard icon instead of, actually like selecting things because, you might not select everything accidentally and all of a sudden you sent the wrong address. And if you send it to the wrong address, then it's gone forever, right? We don't want to do that. Okay, so now here's a couple of things, right? We have conversion from, getting from one type of asset to another. So I can, engage with DeFi on Cadena, right? In this case, this is using the DEX, CADEX for Echo Swap, which is one of the really cool things that I love about this. Okay, it's a great DEX. It's the premier DEX on Cadena, and you have it natively built into Echo Wallet. I guess they're called Echo DEX now, not CADEX. I guess they've changed their branding all in general. You can also access things in the settings over here, like slippage tolerance. I don't necessarily think this is much of a thing that you have to do, though. Unless you're really more of an advanced user for certain things on Cadena. And the thing is about Cadena is that it's so cheap with gas. It's like literally like 6 decimal points away from one Cadena. It's ridiculous how cheap gas is. And you can see right over here, right? This is also a setting that you can work with. You can see your transaction history. And then here are your connections, right? So you can say any active connections, let's say to, Wallet Connect, or, to your Ledger or something like that. I believe this can also access your Ledger. Oh, no, wait, no, we don't have Ledger on Cadena. What am I talking about? So this would be something for something like with a DApp instead. Now here we have also things like account security, networks, to edit your RPC, so that if you want to connect to a different blockchain, you have to put in the information over here, and you have a contacts list as well. Okay, so any questions about Echo Wallet? All right, if I go to the top right here, this is where I could also import a wallet as into my Cadex, or my Echo Wallet. Okay, so something I want to address when it comes to Cadena, that Cadena is a multi-chain blockchain to start with, okay, from the very beginning, okay? This inherently makes things a little bit more complicated, because when we are going to claim or transact on Cadena, it definitely matters which chain on Cadena we are using, okay? Because it's a whole chain web. So information that's on one chain has to then route to another chain for things to happen. When you are working with exchanges like KuCoin, Binance, or whatever, wherever you can find Cadena, the chain that they use is always chain 0. Okay? They always use chain 0. So if you're going to interact with something on the Cadena blockchain that's on chain 8, right, which is actually the Marmalade standard chain. So if you're going to use chain 8 because NFTs are using the Marmalade standard and they want it, to give your rewards on chain 8 or whatever, you have to first make sure that you have some Cadena on that chain. So I would go to the exchange, right, get some Cadena, put it into my Cadena wallet on chain 0. Then from chain 0, right, you can see the source chain, put the amount of Cadena you want to send over to the destination. And in this case, you could just put the same wallet. Oop, did it just crash? I think it just crashed. Oops. So let me go back one more time. Here we go. And we're back. Okay. Put it back over here. Demo, 1, 2, 3, 4, exclamation point. No, don't want to use any of that stuff. Okay. So, like I was saying, you could just take your same wallet. The same wallet, okay? It's the same information. We're only going to send from chain 0 to chain 8. Right? And now, once I've got that information on chain 8, I can now then simply receive information on chain 8. The way it works is, in order to interact on a specific chain, you have to first have a little bit of Cadena first on that chain, okay? Because the gas situation, the way it works is gas is paid by both chains at the same time, right? So if it comes from a different account, right? So for example, from your account to your account, it's not going to require that both transactions are paid on both sides, because you're still in the same account. Right? So if you're just trying to send a little bit of Cadena to chain 8, even if though you don't have Cadena on chain 8, you can still do that with chain 0, right? So if you're following me, you're sending from the exchange, you send a little bit of Cadena to chain 8. Now chain 8 has been opened, so now chain 8 can start to interact with smart contracts and do all these sorts of things, like interacting with our NFTs on chain 8. Does this make sense? Any questions about that? Okay, so let's think about it now the other way around, right? If I had rewards on chain 2, right? Let's say I wanted to go and bring money to chain 2. What would I have to do? Let me hear from you guys. See if you're picking up on this. Excellent. Excellent. Now, let's say Xeno mining, and I don't know exactly which chain we're using, but let's say it's chain 2, right? Okay, so you have rewards on chain 2, and you want to send it to your exchange. How would you do that? Mm-hmm. Very good. Excellent. So that's it. When it comes to Cadena, that's how it works. So I am so happy that you aced it. Very good, Ratim. Any other? Yeah. That's cool. No, I appreciate you participating. That's what this is about, right? So excellent work. So okay, any other questions about Cadena before I move on to Nervos? Okay, let me go back now to Google here for a second because I want to show you a couple of things. First, let's just find Echo Wallet, right? Echo Wallet right here. Wallet.echo.finance. Here it is. Okay, this is where you can find the Echo Wallet. You can download it on the App Store. You can download it on Google Play. You could also download it for Google Chrome, right? So if you're interacting with a dApp, you need to use it on Google Chrome, right? And this is very, very easy to do. It's same thing like MetaMask, same thing like Coinbase Wallet. It's the same exact thing, but now you're using it on Cadena, okay? I really like Echo Wallet because it's very, very simple, okay? Now let's take a look at Nervos, okay? So Nervos I believe org, yes, nervos.org. Nervos is accessing Neuron for the first time is a little bit weird to find because it actually takes you to a GitHub page, and I'm going to show you exactly where. If we go on the top left of the website, you get to the menu. Let's go ahead and look for wallets. Okay, so now download a wallet. There's a couple of different options here, as you can see. Every one of these, right? It's on Ledger, it's on Opera, it's on SafePal. These are all good. But now let's say, okay, Neuron Wallet. Neuron Wallet is the developer's wallet that Nervos created, right? I'm like, okay, let's do that. Let's download it. Now you can see if I'm clicking on these, it's like it doesn't work over here. These are not actually links. This just tells you what it's available on. I have to go to the download page. But when I go to the download page, I look at this and I'm like, what the hell is this? Where do I find how to download Neuron? Because what you're taken to is literally source code. So that's not the most easy user-friendly thing to do, but bear with me, it's easy to find, okay? All you got to do is scroll down, scroll down, scroll down until you get to here. This is the download section, okay? And you download it for the package that you want to use it on, whether that's Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. And you can see there's different types of Mac OS versions, right? The zip files versus DMG. So you just choose whichever one that you want to use. And ARM64 versus x64, that's the difference between the Intel Macs, which is the x64, versus ARM64, which is the M1s and the M2s, the Apple Silicon Macs, okay? So if you're curious about that. So, but luckily I've already downloaded Neuron, so we can just open that up. And let's go ahead and transfer over. Let me switch this here. Okay. Everybody see Neuron? Please confirm. Excellent. Okay. So as you can see here with Neuron, we have a couple of options from the get-go. You got create a wallet. You could import a wallet seed phrase. You could import from a key store, okay? And a key store is basically that cold storage file, that .json file, JSON file that I was talking about earlier. That file is a downloadable file that you can get from your wallet and store it on a hard drive, okay? So there's essentially two ways that you can interact with certain wallets. It's uploading the actual file of your wallet, which is what Bitcoin Core does, right? And Litecoin Core and all that kind of stuff, or using your mnemonic phrase, which is the seed phrase that you got like we did with Coinbase and with the Echo wallet, okay? Those are the two ways you can do it. Some only have one or the other. In the case of Bitcoin, I believe it's only the JSON file. When it comes to Echo wallet, it's only, or Coinbase wallet, it's only the seed phrase file, wallet. So here we have the option to use either one, which is really nice. So if you want to back up your wallet onto the computer in a cold storage format, and also you have your seed phrase, that's great, right? So you also have the option to import your hardware wallet. So if you have, okay, a Ledger, a Trezor, or whatever that can, I think a Ledger can really use, I don't think a Trezor can use CKB. So sorry about that. Ledger can use a CKB. So if you have a Ledger, you don't have to create a new wallet. You just have to import the hardware wallet in here, and that's your wallet, okay? But let's say you don't have a Ledger, but you want to get some CKB. Let's create a new wallet, okay? So here we go. Another one, a new wallet seed. Man, I'm having freaking pages on pages on new seed phrases now. That's how it goes, right? So again, am I going to, copy this, send it in an email to myself? Is that the right way to do about this thing, guys? What does it even tell you? It says here, write down your wallet and save it in a safe place. Write down. Very, very important. Write it down. Very good. Okay, so now it's asking me, I got to put in my thing. All right, so my thing was Canyon, hidden, sell, junk, fame, finger, violin. Sometimes for fun, I kind of like to see my seed phrase as, what story is it trying to tell? It's like, there's a canyon with hidden sold junk, with a famous finger violin right by the sea, with a team at a venue that blasts on seats. So funny. Really, really funny. Okay, so wallet. I can name my wallet. I can also bring a password, right? Here we go. Same password. Demo, 1, 2, 3, 4, exclamation point, right? Let's see here. Demo, 1, 2, 3, 4, exclamation point with a capital D. And I'll just call this demo, right? Excellent. So now, let's see. Okay, here is Neuron. When you get to Neuron, this is what it tells you, okay? It's just an overview. You have your send and receive tabs. You have your history tab to see your transaction history. And then you have Nervos DAO. Now, something that's actually very, very cool about Nervos, I think if you have your preferences set, does everybody see this? Let me see if I can make sure. I don't think everybody sees that. Let me show you this screen for a second. Here we go. So here is the preferences of Nervos. So you just basically go to the top left of the menu, and you just, like kind of where you would find file, edit, tools, and stuff like that. Top left of your screen, this is what you'll find. You'll find the preferences tab. Now in preferences tab, if you actually go to network, you can use the Lite client testnet to be able to just load and synchronize your wallet really, really fast to the blockchain. This is something that is really important because Neuron is inherently also kind of like a node in and of itself. So you'll actually see that if I close this tab and go back to switching over to the Neuron tab, you can see that right over here on the bottom left, there's an entire synchronization feature that's happening as I'm engaging with Neuron. Now, your wallet has to be 100% synchronized in order for it to interact with send and receive functions, okay? Super, super important. Otherwise, you can't interact with anything on Nervos, okay? So that is a key point about this, which is kind of annoying, right? Because you're on the main net and you want to collect your Nervos, but now you got to wait for your wallet to synchronize with the blockchain. This is a sense kind of like the same thing like Bitcoin Core, Litecoin Core, etc. Now you can kind of see that even though it's synchronizing right now, like it's even still kind of slow, and that's honestly because it's still a lot of information that it has to churn up. So you're gonna wait a while on doing this, but just be aware that you're going to have to wait until it syncs. Okay. Here's our send function, right? So you can send to a wallet. You can send the amount that you designate. Here's the transaction fee that it will cost you. You can change the price standard if you want it slow, standard, or fast, and then you could put a description there for like any sort of notes that you want to make about the transaction. This is your wallet address in the receive tab. Again, just like we've been doing with anything in regards to all the other wallets, right? You need to have a receiving wallet address. So this is the wallet that you would take and put it into the Xeno mining dashboard. All right. Just copy this information, right? Oh, you just click the address and it will copy the address. And then you will take that information and then just put it over into the dashboard. Now, let's say for anything that you've earned, right, on CKB, you want to make sure that you stack it against inflation on Nervos. Go to the Nervos DAO, and here is where you can put information. Your what's that? How would you call it? You could put your CKB. You could put your crypto. All you would have to do is make sure that you have CKB in your balance, and then it will. The deposit button becomes green, and then with that you can click how much of it do you want to deposit. Just be aware that the deposit rules, okay, on Nervos, it's going to require a couple of days. Actually, I think it's 1 month is what it locks your entire thing for. Let's see here. I'm just quickly looking up some information. I think it's about a month, if I remember correctly. Well, anyway, the whole point is when you lock up your CKB, it can't be unlocked immediately. Okay, so just be sure that if you want to hold on to your CKB, just you're going to be holding on to it. Okay, you're not going to be able to quickly withdraw that. Now, in between a month towards the next cycle, okay, because if you don't take your CKB out of I think it's like 3 to 5 days that it is available to withdraw from. If you don't do that, it will lock itself again for another month, and it'll just keep doing this in cycles. Okay, so there's a cool off period where you can actually take your information from the Nervos DAO, withdraw it, and then, you know, send it back to your regular wallet to then send to an exchange to sell it. Okay. Very important fact. Any questions about Neuron? That's really about it when it comes to Neuron. I believe in the beginning, the plan was to send everybody wrapped Bitcoin first, and then I think we're gonna open up to having the option, maybe for a vote for everybody, on whether or not we can use we want to go down that route, right? So wrapped Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, maybe in the beginning, just for simplicity, but then moving forward, you can designate how you want to receive your rewards. You got it. Any other questions? All right. Well, I sincerely hope that this was a very helpful event for you guys today. You know, you let me know if there's something else that you want me to cover. Again, we can certainly talk about things like, you know, ledgers and security measures. What's a YubiKey? I mentioned that several times in this episode. So maybe next week I can talk about some security for you guys. And if that's something you're interested in, that is totally cool with me. Again, this will be uploaded shortly after we're done here. So if you want to review any of the information that I just went over, you have that at your disposal, as well as the slides that is there for your convenience. Okay. Any last questions or comments before we go? Thanks, Ratib. Setting up a ledger? Maybe. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we'll talk about setting up a ledger. I just have to make sure that if I'm setting up a ledger, maybe it doesn't show any of my personal information. You got it, man. No problem. But I'll look into that. I actually have been wanting to explore something like that. So we'll see how that goes. Setting up a ledger right now may not be a thing that I might do unless I have a spare to test. Okay. In that case, let me see if I can just create a guide and walk you through it. But I may not do a live presentation on the ledger itself, because revealing certain secret phrases and keywords and stuff like that, I'm not open to that, because that would personally be using my own ledger. So I'll find a way. I'll probably do it in terms of like screenshots or something of that sort, and then I'll blur out any sensitive information. Cool. All right. Yeah, security and ledgers and all that stuff sounds like a good idea. Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Let's stop the recording here, and until next time, enjoy your 4th of July. We have our reveal party tomorrow. That's going to be a blast. Set the fireworks off and all that stuff.